Welcome to today's convocation. Our honorees will be joining us momentarily, and because this is both an academic and a spiritual kind of occasion, we would like to greet them by singing a nigun together, all of us, and not just our talented students here. JTS cantorial student Josh Ehrlich and JTS rabbinical student Grace Gleason, our future colleagues of our honorees, are going to lead us in this nigun, this wordless melody. So we're going to, they're going to sing it once through as we all kind of learn it together if you don't know it. And then our honorees are going to process into the room in this right-hand aisle as we sing them in. So I want to invite those here in the auditorium to rise if you're able as we begin to learn and sing the nigun.
Chancellor Schwartz, welcome friends. My name is Alan Levine, and it is my distinct privilege to serve as chair of the Board of Trustees of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. And on behalf of the board, the administration, and the faculty, I'm delighted to welcome all of you here today and those online to this special convocation. I'm also delighted to be joined today on stage by Dr. Shuly Rubin Schwartz, the Chancellor of the seminary, as well as Rabbi J. Kornsgold, Vice President of the Rabbinical Assembly. And allow me to begin by thanking the JTS students, Josh Ehrlich, and the JTS Rabbinical student, Grace Gleason, for the processional melody. If you haven't already done so, please silence your cell phone. This is wonderful. You're in person. Awesome. That's not in my text. But it's so good to see real bodies, live, big faces, smiling, excited to be here for the first time in almost 3 years. We can finally celebrate together physically. We're also delighted that we're here for the first time in this new auditorium, and all of you get to see our new atrium, the new library, the new dining area. It's a spectacular building, and we're so proud of it. I hope all of you get an opportunity to walk around before you leave and get a sense of how we've transformed the JTS of the 20th century to the JTS of the 21st century. Also invite you all to walk into the new library and see the current exhibition entitled The Work of Her Hands, the Art of Lynn Avadenka and the Craft of Jewish Women Printers. And the library is right off in the atrium on the right side. As all of you know, and I'm sure have looked forward, today's conferral of honorary degrees is a milestone in all of your careers and the careers of the people online. The broad and deep impact of these rabbis and of yourselves is reflected in today's audience. Joining us are not only the honorees, but also their proud family, friends, temple members, lay leaders, professional colleagues, all served by our honorees. So I want to first welcome Rabbi J. Kornsgold, Vice President of the Rabbinical Assembly, who partners with us for this special event to share words of greeting. And following that, Rabbi Gordon Tucker, Vice Chancellor for Religious Life and Engagement here at JTS, will offer a Devar Torah, and then we'll get on to the event, the main event, the conferral of degrees. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. It's an honor and a pleasure for me on behalf of the Rabbinical Assembly and our President, Harold Kravitz, to bring you greetings on this special milestone in your lives. I was ordained in 1993 from JTS, so I overlapped in rabbinical school with many of you, which brings me even more pride as we gather here today. In this week's Torah portion of Vayishlach, which is actually the 30th anniversary of my own senior sermon, our patriarch Jacob is in a wrestling match, and many commentators shed light on who Jacob wrestled with that day. But at the end of the wrestling match, Jacob's name, as we know, is changed from Jacob to Israel. And the Torah tells us, Ki sarita im Elohim ve'im anashim v'tuchal. For you have struggled with God and with people and have prevailed. Each of you, like Jacob, have struggled and been challenged both professionally and personally, and you have prevailed as you're here today. There have been ups and downs, but through it all, you have served our movement and our people with distinction, and your achievements are being recognized today. We, your colleagues and friends in the Rabbinical Assembly, join in this celebration with you. We are grateful that you are part of RRA and hope that you continue to be involved in the life of the Rabbinical Assembly. My hope and my prayer is that God will bless you with many more happy and healthy years in the rabbinate. May you continue to teach Torah for many more years to come. Continue to inspire our people, continue to make a difference in the lives of the people you serve, and continue to work to make this world a better place for all of God's children. Mazal Tov, we are proud of you.
So thank you, Rabbi Kornsgold, for enriching today's ceremony with the thoughts you've shared with us and with your presence here on behalf of the RA. This is very special. Seeing all of you here is making me feel young again. Right? And if you look at my white mustache, you're probably feeling young too. Right. It's really my special honor to be presenting a few words of Torah to honor you, our degree recipients today. I do want to begin by recalling how for all of the earliest years in my rabbinate and that of my contemporaries, it was really not possible for any of us to appreciate the significance of this degree. It was only after a quarter of a century of experiencing the hard but deeply rewarding years of service when we were standing or sitting where you are now that this bestowal finally revealed to us the deep meaning that it carried, for which we were profoundly grateful. So Mazal Tov to all of you, and that comes from all who have come before you and who, because of that, know something about the sacred feelings that are visiting you at this moment. So often enough, a phrase in the Torah manages not only to relate to the characters in the Torah's narrative, but to speak to our lives today as well. And such is the case with one phrase I'm going to point out in this week's parasha. It's a series of questions that Father Jacob anticipates that his servants may be asked by his brother Esau. Lemi ata ve'ana telech ulemi ele lefanecha. Whom do you serve? What is your purpose? And what about these souls that I see before you? Whose are they? So think about those questions as they pertain to the rabbinates that we are celebrating today. Whom do you serve? Well, each of you is here because you have earned the most noble title that there is. It's the title Eved Adonai, servant of the Holy One. Ana telech, what is your purpose? What's your mission? Well, each of you, again, are here because you've demonstrated over and over that it is for the purposes of God and the Jewish people that you have been striving every day. And finally, Lemi ele lefanecha, what about those souls that we see before you? Whom do we see reflected in your faces right now? And to whom are they indebted? Well, we do see, and we know that you do, those whose lives you have enriched, lives that you have made sacred and suffused with meaning, your many students, your legions of disciples, they know who has touched their souls, and they and we are grateful to you all, and we bless you with continued fulfillment in your holy work. Yehi Adonai imachem. May God be with you at every step of the way as you continue your careers of service and sacred work. We will now be privileged to hear remarks from Dr. Shuly Rubin Schwartz, Chancellor of the Jewish Theological Seminary.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Tucker, for those beautiful words. I share the sense of emotion that everyone has expressed just to be here in person with you to celebrate this moment, to celebrate this milestone in your rabbinate. It's also, as you've heard from each of us, it is particularly meaningful personally for me to share this moment with you, marking 25 years as rabbis, teachers, and preachers in Israel, as your diplomas say, which I always found that phrase fascinating, because I have experienced at close range from a very young age just how vitally important the rabbinate is. As the daughter, then wife, now mother of a rabbi, I've been privileged to know the joys and the challenges of the rabbinate, the public ones and the private ones, lessening someone's pain, providing discreet financial support, facilitating reconciliation, imbuing life-altering Torah, being with families at critical moments of their lives, to mourn, to celebrate, to offer support. My father received his honorary doctorate in the now long defunct Concord Hotel during an annual Rabbinical Assembly convention. We, his family, were so proud to be there with him. He was ordained in 1953, and he and his cohort were among the many rabbis who brought Judaism, and particularly conservative Judaism, to Jews hungry for connection after World War II. Like my father on Long Island, most rabbis in that era, and in every era, although it seems to be an important turn of phrase right now, were entrepreneurial rabbis, leading fledgling startups, although they didn't call them that then, that grew into thriving, vibrant centers of Jewish worship, learning, and community. He never aspired to a doctorate, but this degree, which honored the ministry that animated his days and nights for decades, meant the world to him. And I think Rabbi Tucker was absolutely spot on that when you think about it in the future, it bears no meaning until you're sitting in this moment. I know that my late husband, who died much too young and never achieved this moment, he and his classmates would kind of half-jokingly talk about it. Half-jokingly, but when they imagined this moment, it was also half-aspirationally as well, as a milestone they hoped to achieve. In the intervening years, we know that Jewish life has grown ever more sophisticated and the needs of the Jewish people ever more varied, with religious hunger ever more fervent. And your rabbinates have evolved to meet those changing needs. Through your writing, your teaching, your pastoral counseling, relationship building, spiritual formation, institution building, you individually, through your distinctive career paths, and you collectively, it's breathtaking, your achievements. You have magnified Torah in the broadest sense, transforming Jewish life and Jewish lives for the better. The Talmud in Brachot offers two views of leadership, building on the Torah's description of the appointment of Bezalel to build the Mishkan. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Shlosha Dvarim machriz alehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu be'atzmo, ve'elu hein, ra'av, v'sova, ufarnas tov. Rabbi Yochanan said, 3 matters are proclaimed by the Holy One: famine, plenty, and a good leader. The proof for a good leader is the verse from Exodus. Vayomer Adonai al Moshe lemor, re'ei karati b'shem B'tzalel. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, see, I have called by the name B'tzalel. Rabbi Yitzchak offers a different perspective. Ein ma'amidim parnas al hatzibur, ela im kein nimlachim batzibur. Shene'emar, vayomer Moshe ubnei Israel, re'u, kara Adonai b'shem B'tzalel. One may appoint a leader over a community only if they consult with the community, and the community agrees to the appointment. As it is stated, and Moses said unto the children of Israel, see, the Lord has called by name B'tzalel. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, choosing a leader is in God's hands. But according to Rabbi Yitzchak, it is up to the people. Which is it? To whom is a leader accountable? As with many Talmudic debates, the truth can be found by integrating both opinions. While he doesn't use this language, Rabbi Yochanan is speaking about this sense of calling. To serve as a rabbi, a person should feel that God has given them the sense of purpose and skills to pursue this avodat kodesh, this holy path. This sense of calling then requires constant renewal to sustain and motivate rabbis to continue doing this sacred work as God's clergy, klei kodesh. Rabbi Yitzchak, on the other hand, knows that to succeed, a leader must also be chosen by the people. A rabbi serves the community, listening to the needs of the people and ministering to their souls. By reaching this milestone, you have achieved the kind of leadership that encompasses the views of both Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yitzchak. Each of you has stood at the nexus between God and the people Israel, serving Am Yisrael with a sense of divine purpose. We honor you today for your careers of service. In reaching this moment today, you also bring great honor to the Jewish Theological Seminary for the many ways in which you walk in the world and serve as leaders. Every moment has its challenges, and this one is no exception. The importance of your religious leadership has never been more important. We celebrate you today. We celebrate your careers. We wish you strength and fortitude. Chizku v'imtzu. May you know many more years of sipuk nefesh, of deep satisfaction, as you continue to pursue your sacred work. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, we now turn to conferring the honorary degrees, which gives us the opportunity to celebrate and publicly acclaim the long and distinguished careers of this select group of rabbis who have left their mark on their communities. These honorary degrees have been approved by the JTS Board of Trustees. The rabbis we honor today serve the conservative movement and the larger Jewish community in a broad array of capacities. Among our honorees are congregational rabbis, Jewish educators. We've never done it in this space before, so we didn't get to practice. You are congregational rabbis, Jewish educators, hospital and military chaplains, pastoral counselors, Jewish communal executives, academicians, authors, volunteer leaders of organizations, and activists in interfaith dialogue and social justice. The Jewish Theological Seminary is proud to honor you. Many of you who have been ordained at JTS and many who have been ordained at other fine institutions. I want to make special mention of the fact that two of our honorees, Rabbi Alex Greenbaum and Rabbi Amy Schomer Greenbaum, were the first couple in the history of JTS to be ordained. Can still blush after all these years. Our honorees have devoted their careers to making Judaism a vital force in people's lives and to bring its wisdom to bear on the challenges of modernity. Each has brought unique abilities and commitment to the sacred task of serving the Jewish community. It is now my privilege to confer the honorary degrees, and I'm delighted to bring along with me others who feel similarly privileged to confer these degrees. Rabbi Julia Andelman, Director of Community Engagement at JTS, Rabbi Ayelet Cohen, Pearl Resnick, Dean of the Rabbinical School and Dean of the Division of Religious Leadership, and Rabbi Stephanie Ruskay, Associate Dean of the Rabbinical School. They will briefly introduce each honorary degree candidate. Okay, let's go. All right, I now call to the podium Rabbi Joel A. Alter.
Rabbi Alter, you serve Milwaukee's Beth Israel Ner Tamid with warmth, empathy, and passion. As admissions director for the JTS Rabbinical and Cantorial schools, you cultivated new learners and seekers for religious leadership while signaling queer inclusion. In your Jewish day school career, you modeled joy and love as teacher and rabbi. Curious, connected, caring, and creative, you draw others toward meaningful Jewish living and learning. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Amy Bardak.
Rabbi Bardak, you have been rabbi of Congregation Dor Chadash in Pittsburgh since September, returning to the pulpit after 25 years. Previously, you served as Director of Jewish Life and Learning at the Pittsburgh Federation and in Jewish day school leadership in California and Massachusetts. Your core values include recognizing the dignity of every human being, guiding people to find inspiration in Jewish texts and rituals, and building inclusive spiritual communities. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Michael Scott Beals.
Rabbi Beals, you have joyously served Congregation Beth Shalom in Wilmington, Delaware for the past 18 years and are delighted that Delaware's first citizen, President Joe Biden, claims you as his rabbi. Previously, you served in Los Angeles, and your governor appointed you as chair of the Delaware Council of Faith-Based Partnerships. You also serve as president of the Delaware Association of Rabbis and Cantors. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Jonathan Jaffe Bernard.
Rabbi Bernard, after serving at Adat Ariel in Valley Village, California for 25 years, you're now executive director of the Jewish Initiative for Animals, which brings Jewish values of compassion for animals into practice. You are a past president of the Board of Rabbis of Southern California, co-founder of the Valley Chevra Kadisha, and vice chair of the Sandra Kaplan Community Beit Din. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Mark Biller.
Rabbi Biller, you emphasize Jewish spirituality and the teaching of ancient rituals and ceremonies through your innovative online video series, including 30 seconds to launch you into Shabbat, and 20-minute Torah tidbits, and your Talmud and Musar seminars, you create a bond with Jewish tradition for many formerly unaffiliated Jews. You've been active in interfaith groups and led an interfaith Israel tour, connecting all to a love of Judaism. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Alejandro Simon Bloch.
Rabbi Bloch, you are Vice Chancellor, Professor of Jewish Theology, and Mashgiach Ruchani, Spiritual Guide at the Seminario Rabbinico Latinoamericano. Since 2008, you have also led the B'nai Israel Cultural Society of Santiago, Chile. You previously served as rabbi of the Jewish community of Mendoza, Argentina, and the New Israelite Congregation in Montevideo, Uruguay. You have represented your community in various governmental, non-governmental, and interreligious forums. Mazal tov.
Rabbi David F. Booth.
Rabbi Booth, you have been spiritual leader of Congregation Kol Ameth in Palo Alto, California since 2006, previously serving in New Jersey and Virginia. You've encouraged your congregants in their Jewish learning and spiritual growth and worked on engaging young adults and young families. You believe that sacred communities are needed more than ever and that we thrive when we put Torah and meaning at the center. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Colin Ian Brody.
Rabbi Brody, you have been rabbi of Congregation B'nai Torah in Trumbull, Connecticut for nearly 20 years, previously serving Temple Beth Shalom in Malpac, New York. While at B'nai Torah, you were also school counselor for 9 years at Ezra Academy in Woodbridge, Connecticut. You have focused on creating programs for teenagers and that develop community. You see a synagogue's main purpose as tikkun olam, especially serving the hungry and homeless. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Carrie Michelle Carter.
Rabbi Carter. After serving as a Hillel rabbi in Cleveland, you became the spiritual leader of the Park Slope Jewish Center in Brooklyn, which has thrived under your leadership for the past 22 years. Throughout your career, with quiet courage, you have worked to create safe, inclusive communities, guided by the pursuit of justice, learning, honesty, mutual respect, and deep care for one another. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Gary Jordan Davidson.
I want to share this symbolically with your father and husband, if that's okay. They didn't have the opportunity.
Rabbi Davidson, you served as rabbi of a congregation in Long Beach, California, and you are currently a Jewish chaplain in the United States Air Force. You have offered spiritual care to badly wounded service members, supported trauma patients in military hospitals, and officiated at memorial ceremonies. You have written eloquently about the importance of building resilience to meet life's challenges. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Michelle Faye Bottom.
Rabbi Fadam, you have been an adult Jewish education instructor in Greater Detroit since 2004 and the rabbi for Hillel of Metro Detroit since 2016. You previously served as rabbi in residence at Hillel Day School in Farmington Hills, Michigan for 9 years. You have dedicated your life to Jewish education and the impact that Jewish literacy and learning can have. Your high energy and passion for Jewish living and learning are contagious. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Joseph Ron Fish.
Rabbi Fish, you have served for 25 years in leading congregations in Connecticut and Massachusetts. Currently, you are the East Division Director of Anti-Semitism Advocacy and Education for the Anti-Defamation League. You have modeled commitment to ongoing learning and pursuing a doctorate of Hebrew literature at JTS, for which you have completed your comprehensive exams. You have been a leading public voice for interfaith dialogue and universal health care. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Avram D. Friedman.
Rabbi Friedman, you have been spiritual leader of Congregation Or Shalom, Summit Jewish Community Center in New Jersey since 2005. You previously served as assistant rabbi at Ahavat Achim Congregation in Atlanta and as rabbi at Tree of Life Congregation in Pittsburgh. You have been president of the Summit Interfaith Council and a member of the Summit Anti-Racism Committee and the Overlook Hospital Chaplaincy Oversight Committee. Mazal tov.
I'm now pleased to call Sharon Bromberg, who is accepting this diploma on behalf of her husband, Rabbi Aaron Gaber, who's he is, you might notice from the uniform, deployed with the U.S. Army and Army National Guard on a chaplain mission to serve Jewish service members overseas during Hanukkah.
Rabbi Gaber, you have been rabbi of Congregation Brothers of Israel at Newtown, Pennsylvania since 2014, having previously served 2 other congregations. In 2020, you also returned to your role as chaplain for the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. As a congregant recently commented, you demonstrate, advocate, and educate others about empathy and tolerance for everyone, both within and outside the Jewish community. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Lisa B. Gelber.
Rabbi Gelber, you enthusiastically serve as a relational connector and weaver of narratives, fostering communities of curiosity, inquiry, and trust. An inspiring teacher and mentor, you engage learners of all ages and strive to serve as a dugma ishit, a personal example. You elevated the importance of discussing domestic violence and the BRCA gene mutation in the Jewish community, speaking nationally and creating materials for ritual use. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Elliot Mark Goldberg.
Rabbi Goldberg, you taught for 2 decades in Jewish day schools and at Ramah camps for a lifetime of summers. You are driven by a passion for Jewish texts and a desire to make them relevant to your students. As a coach and consultant, you work with Jewish professionals and organizations, helping them align mission, vision, and practice, and supporting their sacred work. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Felipe Goodman.
Rabbi Goodman, You have served for 25 years as Rabbi of Temple Beth Shalom in Las Vegas, the first Mexican citizen ordained as a conservative rabbi. You are a member of the Joint Beit Din and have served as president of the Southern Nevada Board of Rabbis. Throughout your career, you have emphasized building and empowering sacred spaces in unlikely places and helping your colleagues both near and far. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Jennifer Rachel Gorman.
Rabbi Gorman, believing change comes through building relationships, you have pursued an eclectic rabbinate. National Director of Outreach and Programming at the Canadian Jewish Political Affairs Committee, you have worked in education, synagogues, and conservative movement organizations, most recently as Executive Director of MERKAZ Canada and the Canadian Foundation for Masorti Judaism. You value communal involvement, serving on multiple RA committees and the Toronto Board of Rabbis. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Alexander A. Greenbaum.
Rabbi Greenbaum, you have served as rabbi at 2 congregations in the past quarter century, for 5 years in Augusta, Georgia, and for the last 20 years at Bethel Congregation in Pittsburgh. You are a warm, spiritual, people-oriented, profoundly progressive rabbi who focuses on radical inclusion, building community through education, motivation, and youth work. You currently serve as a rabbinic fellow for 18 Doors, which works with interfaith families. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Amy Schomer Greenbaum.
Rabbi Greenbaum, you serve as Associate Rabbi of Bethel Congregation in Pittsburgh. You also previously were Rabbi of Beth Israel Center in Pittsburgh. You care deeply for the members of your congregations. You share love, gratitude, and spirituality through music and innovative programs. Your participation in congregants' life cycle events has brought you great satisfaction and meaning. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Edward Horowitz.
Rabbi Horowitz, you have served in leadership in Jewish schools and agencies as a teacher, program director, and head of school for over 25 years. You have worked to radically reframe the role of the Jewish day school within the North American Jewish community. You stress the importance of educational innovation and fashioning an environment where innovative teaching and learning flourish with a sense of collaboration and creativity. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Jacob Herber.
Rabbi Herber, you have been Senior Rabbi of Herzl Ner Tamid in Mercer Island, Washington since 2020, previously serving congregations in Philadelphia and Milwaukee. Senior Rabbinic Fellow of the Shalom Hartman Institute, you were formerly on the staff of the Shalom Hartman Institute of North America. You have worked to deepen the American Jewish community's connection with the State of Israel and Judaism through a values-based approach to teaching Torah. Mazal Tov.
Our next honoree, Rabbi Mitchell M. Hurwitz, is unfortunately unable to join us today because he has COVID. We wish him a refuah shlema, a complete and speedy recovery. But we're going to hear about him.
Rabbi Hurwitz has served as a rabbi at Temple Shalom of Greenwich, Connecticut since 1995, including as senior rabbi since 2001. He has placed great value on pastoral care, as well as interfaith learning and fellowship. He works to create a completely open and welcoming community that provides multiple avenues through which everyone can meaningfully connect to God, Torah, the Jewish people, and our entire human family. If you're watching, Rabbi Hurwitz, Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Eitan Ilya Julius.
Rabbi Julius, after a fruitful 10 years at Congregation Sinai of San Jose, California, you moved back to Israel to teach the Torah of Eretz Yisrael. As a tour educator, you have worked with synagogues, Poland trips, Taglit birthright, and individual Jews seeking a deeper connection with Israel. You've also conducted B'nai Mitzvah ceremonies at the Masorti section of the Kotel. Mazal Tov.
Oh. Now I get to call it my own rabbi, Rabbi Jeremy Kalmanowski.
Rabbi Kalmanowski.
Here, okay.
You have served as rabbi at Anshe Chesed in Manhattan since 2001, including as my internship supervisor. You aspire to connect your community to the depth of Jewish tradition, to seek the meaning that the classical still offers the present. You are grateful that your job is fundamentally about doing mitzvot, praying, studying, leading rituals, doing acts of tzedakah and chesed, and helping people. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Gustavo Luis Kreselnik.
Rabbi Kreselnik. You have been spiritual leader of Congregation Kol Sherith Israel in Panama City, Panama, since 2002, previously serving the Jewish community of El Salvador. Throughout your career, you have placed great emphasis on strengthening Jewish life through the study and practice of our tradition. You've also been involved in interfaith dialogue, promoting the construction of a culture of encounter and understanding. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Amy Levin.
Rabbi Levin, you were the second woman ordained by the Schechter Rabbinical Seminary in Jerusalem. And you serve today as president of the Rabbinical Assembly of Israel. As president of the Board of Rabbis of Rhode Island, in the past, you testified at the State House supporting legislation that addressed domestic violence, gun control, poverty concerns, and more. As a congregational consultant and rabbinic advisor, you promote thriving communities and strategic leadership. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Andrea Lynn Merrow.
Rabbi Merrow, you proudly serve the Jewish Center in Princeton. Previously, you served Temple Shalom in Philadelphia, which then merged with Beth Shalom Synagogue in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania. Your rabbinate began with the creation of a food pantry that continues to serve hundreds weekly. You co-created a center for spiritual well-being. Your work has been teaching Torah, Jewish living, love of Israel, social justice, song, and prayer. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Sarah Pasha Orlo.
Rabbi Pasha Orlo, President of the Massachusetts Board of Rabbis, you served for 18 years as Director of Spiritual Care at Hebrew Senior Life in the Boston metropolitan area and are about to embark on a new adventure. You created a department and chaplaincy institute that advances Jewish chaplaincy and supports the spiritual lives of thousands of seniors. Author of Deathbed Wisdom of the Hasidic Masters, you are a leader in medical ethics, LGBTQ aging, and anti-racism work. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Michael M. Pitkowski.
Rabbi Pitkowski, after many years of teaching Torah in both Israel and America, you now work in the field of higher education. While the institution where you serve is not Jewish, it has a deep understanding of what it means to have a religious mission, to educate, and to bring different communities closer together, both of which are an extension of your commitment to Torah. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Michael Robert Resnick.
Rabbi Resnick, you have been spiritual leader at Temple Emmanuel of Palm Beach, Florida since 2007. During that time, you have worked hard to create a strong sense of connection and common purpose within the Temple family and within the larger community, both Jewish and Christian. You have also played an active role in teaching Judaism to students at the local university. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Daniel J. Satlow.
Rabbi Satlow, during your 16 years in the pulpit, you helped people connect more deeply with their communities through joyful and innovative programs. Now, in your second career as a major gifts officer, the millions of dollars in donations you have secured for Yeshiva University and other Jewish institutions have aided thousands of students in their pursuit of Jewish education. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Charles Edward Savanor.
Rabbi Savanor, modeling a life of purpose framed with Jewish values has been the hallmark of your rabbinic career. You served as a spiritual guide and educational leader at Park Avenue Synagogue in New York and Anshe Emet in Chicago. Now, as executive director of Civic Spirit, you are focused on building bridges across political and religious divides and planting seeds for a more secure, unified, and inspiring future. Mazal tov.
Rabbi Robert Scheinberg.
Rabbi Scheinberg, through your guidance and vision, the United Synagogue of Hoboken has become a leading synagogue in urban New Jersey. You combine passion for Jewish communal service with a love for the study of liturgy. And I still hear your voice on the tapes that I learned davening from when I was here. You have served on the editorial committees for the Lev Shalem prayer books and trained future colleagues at the Jewish Theological Seminary and the Academy for Jewish Religion. Mazal tov.
Our next honoree, Rabbi Julie Schoenfeld, was unfortunately unable to join us today because she is under the weather. We wish her a refuah shlema, a full and speedy recovery, but we will now hear from Rabbi Resnick.
Rabbi Schoenfeld, as a recognized spokesperson for American and World Jewry, was appointed by President Barack Obama to the President's Advisory Council on Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships and named this year by Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, as Vice Chair of the Faith-Based Security Advisory Council. As former Chief Executive Officer at the Rabbinical Assembly, she was the first woman to serve as a CEO of a Jewish denominational organization.
Rabbi Bradley Techtiel.
Rabbi Techtiel, you have served as Rabbi of Midbar Kodesh Temple in Henderson, Nevada for the last 15 years. You previously served other congregations and as Rabbi in residence at a day school. Throughout your career, you have taken pride in assuming leadership positions in your communities. You have enjoyed developing relationships with clergy of other faiths. You have placed great significance on teaching Torah and Torah values to your congregants and students. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Wendy H. Unger.
Rabbi Unger, you are a senior chaplain at the James Cancer Center at the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, offering comfort, support, and prayer to patients and their families and to the staff. You also act as Rabbi in residence for Jewish patients at the medical center. You contributed to the book, Understanding the Journey, a lifespan approach to working with grieving people. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Louis Warschauer.
Rabbi Warschauer, you are an independent adult Jewish studies educator. Among your special interests is teaching Midrash through works of art and family dynamics in the Bible. Earlier in your career, you taught as a rabbinic fellow for JTS and wrote many Torah commentaries for the JTS website. You also served as assistant rabbi at Congregation Beth Shalom in Kansas City. Mazal Tov.
Rabbi Stephen C. Wernick.
Rabbi Wernick, you have been senior rabbi at Beth Tzedek Congregation in Toronto since 2019. Previously, you were chief executive officer of United Synagogue of Conservative Judaism. You serve in leadership roles at the Jewish agency Merkaz Olami and Hillel, Ontario, and were named one of Newsweek's 50 most influential rabbis in America. You were instrumental in the effort to create a permanent space at the Kotel for pluralistic and egalitarian prayer. Thank you. Mazal tov.
Now, pleased to call back to the podium Rabbi Lisa Gelber and Rabbi Charles Savinar, who will accept the honorary degree on behalf of their classmate, Rabbi David J. Wise. He's unfortunately unable to be here. It is due to the recent death of his mother. Yehei Zichra Baruch.
Rabbi Wise has led Congregation Eitz Chaim at Hollis Hills Bayside in Queens, New York since 2005, guiding it through 3 successful consolidations. In 9 years at Temple Beth El of Somerset, New Jersey, he helped the congregation build a beautiful sanctuary. He has nurtured high-level adult education and deep learning about Israel. He has experienced the joy of officiating at B'nai Mitzvah and then standing under the same students' chuppot. Mazal Tov.
Thank you now to Rabbi Andelman, Rabbi Cohen, and Rabbi Ruskay for serving as the sponsor for today's honoree. I now ask all the honorees to rise and please remain standing. You are the guardians of our Jewish community. You have helped to build an authentic, modern Jewish life, solidly based on the pillars of Torah, Avodah, and Gmilut Chasadim. In bestowing these degrees, the Jewish Theological Seminary acknowledges its debt to you, who are at once its students, its partners, its teachers, and its emissaries. Our community could not flourish without the kind of dedication and leadership that you epitomize. May you continue to find blessing in all your endeavors and enjoy good health. May you accept this tribute both as praise for your accomplishments and as an invitation to continue sharing your many talents with the Jewish people and the world at large. In recognition of your continued devotion to your sacred task, the Board of Trustees of the Jewish Theological Seminary has voted to confer upon you these honorary degrees. Therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in the JTS Board of Trustees by the State of New York, it is my privilege to admit you to the degree of Doctor of Divinity honoris causa. Mazel tov to all of you. Even as we honor these distinguished rabbis, we also honor their families who have sustained them and nourished them and at times made sacrifices for them. To all the family members joining us today, here and virtually, we honor you as you honor them, and we thank you for all that you have done to help make this moment possible. It is now my privilege to call upon Rabbi Joel Alter, who received an honorary degree today, to speak on behalf of his colleagues. Rabbi Alter was ordained at JTS and is the spiritual leader of Congregation Beth Israel near Tamid in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Following his remarks, Rabbi Ayelet Cohen will offer a blessing to all the honorees.
Board Chair Levine, Chancellor Schwartz, Rabbi Kornsgold, faculty, family, friends, fellow rabbis, good afternoon. I was humbled when I was informed that it was going to be my honor to speak today, but after hearing all of your careers recited, I am humbled all the more. Thank you. 25 years ago, give or take, my fellow rabbis and I concluded our preparation and underwent a shinui shem, a name change. Rabbi was added to our names. So who did we become that day? Sorry, Jay. In this week's parasha, Yaakov wrestles an angel all night. You've heard this before. At daybreak, the angel wants out, but Yaakov demands a blessing. Recognizing Jacob's resilience with God and people alike, the angel names him Yisrael, Ki sarita im Elohim ve'im anashim vatuchal. Jacob gets a name that speaks his essence. Jacob is both seen and foreseen by the angel. In turn, Jacob implores the angel, Hagida na shemecha, tell me your name. The angel is taken aback. Lama ze tishal lishmi? Why ask my name? And then the angel is gone. Rashi explains, angels have no fixed names. Ein lanu shem kavua. Rather, their names change with each new mission. Mishtanim shmotenu. What Rashi says of angels, he might as well have said of all of us here. We all have multiple varying identities dependent on our particular roles. As Walt Whitman penned, and Jeremy Kalmanovsky, where are you? This one's for you. And as Bob Dylan sang, we all can say, I contain multitudes. Still, for all our complexity, people have fixed names where angels don't. And yet, the angel has given Yaakov a new fixed name. Similarly, whatever else we are rabbis, and that guides us toward and in our tasks. Jacob cannot call the angel by name, but proves effusive in naming the one who dispatched the angel. The night before his wrestling encounter, Jacob had called to God for help. Vayomer Yaakov, Elohei avi Avraham, Elohei avi Yitzchak, Adonai haomer elai, shuv la'artzecha u'lamaladtecha ve'etiva imach. Then Jacob said, God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, Adonai who said to me, return to your native land and I will deal bountifully with you. Now that's a name. Torah and tradition speak of God by infinite names, all deriving from God's one essential name, the name of eternity, Eheyeh Asher Eheyeh. We continually name and rename God. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, the sustainer, we name God when we eat bread. Dayan ha'emet, the arbiter of truth, we name God when we face a death. Name, upon a rainbow, our broken world, an ailing parent. We name the God that we find or the God that we need, but sometimes find absent. On this celebration of our rabbi names, I'm moved that being a rabbi means being devoted and bold in naming God. All of us, however and wherever we serve, are called to put God's good name out into the world. God's infinite names, in spite of it all, and because of it all. We help to innovate names for God, helping to uncover Kedusha in seemingly new places, while also affirming it in familiar ones. In our lives of mitzvot and in teaching Torah, in advocacy and social action, in honoring ancient values, in defending and raising high the banner of our people, we seek to magnify God's good name. And why? Shmenu karata bishmecha. Covenant means that God hitched God's name to our people's own. That's what the angel affirmed when it named Yaakov Yisrael. And that's our charge since we were first called rabbi. On a good day, we might even meet our charge. Finally, this afternoon, I want to speak personally in celebrating conservative Masorti Judaism and JTS, past and present. In 1991, I entered JTS almost inarticulately aware that I'm gay. I knew that only at JTS could I become the rabbi I wanted to be, but that at JTS I could not openly become that rabbi. That same year, our law committee considered the matter of homosexuality. Its debate was ill-informed and ugly. It consumed the institution. The voices of prohibition argued that saying yes to queer folk would bring ruin on this institution, our movement, Judaism, Israel, God's good name. So I was ordained, while still publicly anyway, in the closet. 10 years later, times had changed and the committee reversed itself. Holiness in new spaces. Throughout the movement, including at all 4 Masorti seminaries, queer Jews were increasingly integrated. Later, I served as an openly gay admissions director of JTS's then fully inclusive rabbinical program. When an outstanding lesbian candidate inquired, "But Rabbi Alter, is it really safe now at JTS?" "Yes," I replied. The charge all of us share to wrestle with God and people affirms the appellation the angel gave Jacob long ago. Ki sarita im Elohim ve'im anashim vatuchal. When dawn comes, may we merit to prevail, maybe bearing new names for us and for God. Mazal tov to us all.
Thank you, Rabbi Alter, for your beautiful words, and Mazal Tov. The institution and the Jewish people are so much richer for your presence and for your service. Misha Berach, Avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless you. As we celebrate this milestone, these many years of your providing blessing and learning and guidance and solace and challenge to so many, of creating change and weathering change, of wrestling with tradition and championing tradition. As you have nourished your people, so may you too be nourished. V'haya ke'etz shatul al mayim ve'al yuval yishlach sharashav. May you be like a tree planted by waters. When you reach your roots out to the stream, thirsty, may you find the waters, the people, the wisdom, the peace, the generosity, the forgiveness, the faith that soothe and sustain and refresh you. For the next 25 years and beyond, as you continue your holy work on paths sometimes clear and sometimes winding, with chesed and tzedek, with love, curiosity, and joy. Throughout their careers, our honorees have bestowed words of blessing on countless members of their communities. Today, it is their turn to receive blessing from us, their community, including their families, friends, and colleagues who have gathered here to honor them and their work. We'll sing together the BIRKAT KOHANIM, the priestly blessing, the words of which can be found on the back of your program, using the same melody with which we greeted them earlier. I invite Josh Ehrlich and Grace Gleason to lead us. Please stand, and honorees turn and face your families and your friends as they offer you this bracha.
Yevarech
Amen. The convocation has now concluded, but the celebration continues. We ask those here in the auditorium to be seated until the honorees have processed out. You guys don't be seated. And then please join us in the atrium just outside for a reception honoring our honorees. Please also note that Mariv will be in the Beit Midrash on the first floor at 5:30. Thank you everyone for joining us both in person and online to share in this special day. Mazal tov.
Simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov.